question 28, we're going to use the compound interest formula for inflation purposes to go back in time. The original amount, or an estimation of an original amount, is the principal. The amount that it's currently worth, the amount in the account we've used as before, 4 years ago, 6%. Now, when you do these questions in a test or an exam, or maybe an assignment, you might get the instruction, do this algebraically. Now, algebraically means you use the compound interest formula and you show working. So, as we've done before, that's my line of working. My next step is to transpose. So P is equal to 1500 divided by 1.06 to the power of 4. And when I do that on my calculator, even though it says algebraically, I'm obviously still going to have to use my calculator. I do this on the main screen. And that gives me the figure of 11, 88 and 14. Now that's showing algebraic working. If I was marking that in a test or an exam or an assignment, I'd give 1 mark for the first 2 bits. I'd give another mark for exhibition of the transposition and 1 mark for the question. Now, if I only showed my answer, then I would only get 1 mark. So make sure that when that algebraic instruction appears, that you give lines of working. Now in a moment, I'll go through the calculations for C and E. Please notice though, petrol, it may well differ from the price you're buying it today. The inflation and petrol tend to be rather complex for a market-driven commodity like that. And perhaps also for the cinema. I'll show you how to do those two using your graphics calculator. Now, in part C, I'd like to show you how to work this on your graphics calculator. I've got the compound interest functionality fired up. It's got 10 years, 8%. Please notice that we write this down as well. The present value, that's what I want to find out. Payment of 0. Now, its current value is $1.62. It would be me like putting some money in the bank out of my pocket and getting it back out at the end. So the present value is 75 cents a litre. So in other words, 10 years ago, petrol would have cost roughly 75 cents a litre on those figures. As to what it was actually 10 years ago, it's something you might have to do some research on. I'll work through E in a moment. In part E, you're asked to predict the price or what the price may have been for a cinema ticket 50 years ago if they increase roughly by 4%. Now, I've done this on the graphics calculator. Please notice, unless the instruction is to do this algebraically, this is a perfectly legitimate way of solving this question. And the present value, $2.04. I'll just put that down as my present value or my predicted value of the cinema ticket.